Hello, and welcome to the Humankind Lucy OpenDev. This will be interesting. This is Amplitude, makers of Endless Space, Endless Legend, pretty much anything with Endless in front of it. This is pretty much their take into the foray of the historical 4X, like Civilization, things like that. So if you are not familiar with the game, I'll try to kind of explain what makes it different than Civ, and yeah, I'll just get started. So one immediate difference compared to, say, Civilization is that normally in Civilization you start with a settler and you just kind of find a good spot to pitch camp, and then you got your city. This is a little different. You start with these tribes people. And pretty much the way they work is they build up from food over time. So you need to kind of scavenge for food to build up this group, and then you can use them to like fight some deer and get even more food, and so on and so forth. There's these sort of anomalies around. So this one is knowledge, and this one is just food. So I think I'm going to start with heading for the food. Head there. There we go. We got a little bit of food, not like a ton, but a decent amount. So I think it's going to be interesting about this compared to a lot of 4X games, is that there's going to be a lot more players just kind of running around at the very beginning. I'm also noticing how fast the turn timer is. Like, that was like, boom, instant. Granted, I mean, everyone right now pretty much only has one unit, but still, pretty cool stuff. We got a knowledge-related curiosity here. Here we are. There's also a sanctuary here of a neutral faction. This is pretty much like a lair of some sort. So all you have to do is just ransack it for a turn, is my understanding, and you'll get some basically free food out of it. And there we go. Now we have some extra tribesmen. Alright, let's head here to this prairie, get that ancient encampment, which gave us a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of science. So once we get enough of this stuff, we'll be able to move up to the next era. I need to hunt some animal units as well up there. So, this one, I was going to do auto-resolve battles, but I think I should do it manual just to show off what it's like. So unlike regular Civilization, it's not like you have one unit and then you attack and they kind of like bonk each other on the head for a little bit. This one here is you choose where you want your units to deploy from, in your little blue zone, and then they have their little white zone or whatever player color they are. Then you start, and the deer is somewhere in there, and I'm sure it'll become apparent. We just have to hunt it down. One thing that's interesting about this compared to a lot of Civ games as well is that this zone actually exists, physically on the map, in the sense of your battle takes place in here, but that's not necessarily where your units are when the battle is over. And there's opportunities here where you can like reinforce from the outside and bring in extra units and things like that. Alright, where is this guy? I'm assuming the deer is faster than me. Oh, there he is. Alright, chop him up. And we got him. That seems very simple, right? But as time goes on, there's going to be a lot more interesting, weird bonuses involved. So, because I killed it, I got some food and some influence. Very handy stuff. Next up, I should probably think about where I want to kind of like live. This spot seems pretty good. I mean, that's a lot of food and a good amount of production to it. So maybe I'll head there. Set up a little outpost there. Outposts can't do much on their own, and I don't think you can make a city until you progress to the next level. Okay. Move along there. There's our little camp. Unlike the regular Civilization games, your goal isn't necessarily to put out your camp as soon as you can. Another deer over there I can kill. These first turns are very quick.
This way.
Ancient encampment, have some knowledge and all that.
Later we rest.
Ooh, what is this? Geyser. Look at that. Some gold here? Or dye, sorry. This might be a nice spot to camp out. But this nomadic tribe, I think, has claimed this area already. Yeah. So there goes that. I mean, I could fight them for it and all that, but frankly, that seems exhausting. Alright, more knowledge and such. Let's see if we can catch this deer. There's another anomaly over there. Oh, he's getting real close. Yeah, okay. This one I think I'll auto-resolve. Combat's not going to be too interesting at the moment until we progress a little further. So we got some food. Excellent. So now we have 3 people, which is really cool. All right, that other curiosity I think was it here or here? I can't remember. Okay, a salve for the bloodied. So this game also has these kind of little narrative events, and usually in these kinds of games, these kinds of events are kind of like whatever, You see them and you're like, well, that's a... Sure, I'll take +1 science for 3 turns, But this one, these affect kind of the DNA of your civilization a little more. So here, I think basically what it's asking for is if you like science or faith more. I get the feeling that a lot of people are going to be going science, so I think I'm going to go with faith. Going a little bit against the grain there. What's interesting also is you'll notice when this game started, I didn't really select my faction. I'm just a nomadic tribe, and so are they. Like we don't really have an identity yet. That'll come next, and fairly soon, by my estimation. Here we go. This might be the moment. Nope, I need one more. Anything cool in here? Okay, looks like the last one's probably there. Here we are. So it looks, I think I've met my goal. I think that's what that star means. So I've accrued fame. Now, unlike Civilization, your goal isn't necessarily to get to the end of history and set up, set up a rocket or kill everyone or whatever. The goal in this is a lot more based around the fame. It's the journey, not the destination, I guess is probably the best way to describe it. So basically, the more cool stuff you do, the more faith points you get. Alright, you've achieved one of the objectives of the Neolithic era. You're now able to adopt a culture and turn your tribe into a people of the ancient era. Alright, so here we go. So, basically, in Civilization, it's normally like, pick your faction, okay, you're Rome for the rest of the game. This one is every kind of era of time you go into. You get to choose what culture you want to kind of splice into yourself. So, in this case, I'm thinking maybe I think it's pronounced Zhao, Let's see, what are they good at? They have a special unit, which appears to be like a really cool kind of like chariot sort of thing. They have a Confucian school, and they get a little bonus here. It's +2 stability on district unlocks action buyout on Empire. That's pretty cool. The Phoenicians are trade-based. They're more about making money and having ports. So you can kind of see these little icons here, and they're supposed to denote what each culture is kind of good at. So you see the Babylonians are really good at like science, and the Egyptians are really good at production, and the Harappans are really good at food. So this is a good way to kind of feel out what you want to do. And if you're playing, I think if you're playing multiplayer with humans, I'm not sure if it applies necessarily to bots, but it could. You get to choose. Basically, only one person can pick any particular culture. You know, you can't have the Babylonians spontaneously appear on two sides of the globe. So it's a good way to also kind of encourage you. You're kind of racing if you really, really want a particular culture. I could be wrong on that. So you can adopt them. And this is my little my avatar. This is Lucy. In this game, you can't customize her yet. In this particular OpenDev, that is. But when the game fully releases, you'll be able to modify your character, customize them from scratch. One thing that's also interesting is that they get little outfits depending on what you go with. So she had that outfit. If I go Assyrian, she's got a different one. Ooh, that's a nice one, actually. Very colorful. So there's a nice little bit of flavor there. Which also helps because, like, Teddy Roosevelt dressed as Teddy Roosevelt as a caveman doesn't make much sense. All right, let's build the Zhao. All right. So my transition to the next era will occur between this turn and the next one. So I get to choose my legacy. Do I want to be makers, farmers, or storytellers? I think I'll try out storytellers. I'm trying to go a little bit faithy. I don't want to like completely, lean into it and min-max, but might be fun. Let's head to our next era.
The challenges of a young civilization. It's hard keeping up with the neighbors when they have the wheel and you don't. Humankind learns quickly that everyone contributes. If you're terrified of wild animals, you can grow lentils or catch fish. Tribes settle towns. Towns develop markets, and markets begin the exchange of goods, services, and most important, rumors and hearsay.
So see here, my units are a little different now. They reflect a little more the culture I've selected, which is really cool. I also have a little icon there to reflect that I'm the Zhao now. This might be nice for the money. Mostly my intent here is to kind of box in who I'm seeing here. Oh wait, this actually might be the better move. It's 5. Yeah, that's good. That's much better. Let's do this. You also see I can't grow these units anymore, so it's also a good way early on if you get lots of food and you can kind of grow up that little tribe. They're obviously going to have a little more benefits in that way. Alright, so I like this spot as is, so I think I'm going to go with turning this into a city immediately. Alright, so now we have Haojing. Now there's a lot of detail here to notice. We have certain ways to help our balance of things, but generally speaking, the resources here are very similar to the other ones you'll see in the other Endless games. It's food, industry, money, science, influence. That's pretty much the resources that you'll be using for most of these games. So, what do I want to build first is the question. What does this district do? It does +5 science per adjacent mountains on city or outpost. So if I build it over here, that's going to net me a lot of science. So I think I'll do that. Kind of lean into my special building. Every culture gets its own special buildings. So in Civilization, right, you get your empire, and you have that special building or whatever for the rest of the game. Maybe you have like a brief moment in the sun, you know, like, oh, in this in this era, you get a special unit that does X, and it's just a little bit stronger or has a special power. In this one, every era, every culture, everything has special stuff. So I get the little Confucian school, and once my nomadic neighbors figure out who they are, they'll have something different, and I'll probably be scared of them. So I will start with maybe the calendar? I should also be keeping an eye out for horses, considering I think my special unit is horse-related. These guys found out who they are. They are the Syrians, I think it is. Okay. That event finished, and I got punished for it. I have a little outpost here that's going to grow. What's nice about outposts is that once they finish... Actually, I guess I'll wait a turn to show you. Okay, so once this outpost is finished, which I think the turn is still going. Nope. Okay, needs one more turn to finish. Do I want to fight them? Yeah.
For your family.
Okay, they retreated. It took me a second to realize what I was seeing, but yeah. So hopefully they stay out. Alright, what do I want to research next? Archers are pretty good. I think I'm going to go with domestication, though. I need horses, and I think I need to plan around finding horses. Nothing super amazing here. At least at the moment. 11 and 4. Yeah, I think this is going to be... This is probably the best bang for buck spot. All right, met my neighbor.
Very carefully. I have a proposal.
So this is where you can
This is where I greet you, impress upon you the wonder of my people, and tell you my ambitions. No?
Okay.
Maybe.
So this is the he wants to do trade luxuries. So I'll allow that, I guess.
I like you. I agree.
Marvelous, like the first rays of daylight.
Wow, this guy's a piece of work, huh? All right, so over here is my avatar, obviously, and that's his. But you'll see, because he's an AI, he has these kind of like archetypes slotted in. So you can kind of see what they like to do here. So population is a disposable resource. Their productivity is what matters most. So he's probably going to be like sacrificing population. He likes to take risks, and he wants to develop relationships. Okay, he's a militarist and he's a pillager. So you can see that there's a little bit of personality there from the get-go. It's to kind of make up for the fact that they're not just, you know, this isn't just the Huns, you know. And as the game goes on, you kind of build up these cultures on top of each other. Okay, so War Desire is up here at the top. This tutorial is basically saying War Desire is like a resource that sort of builds up over time from actions you take. Pretty much like the more you antagonize another empire, or the more you, you know, kind of go toe-to-toe with them, your War Desire is going to be pretty high. It doesn't really matter until you're at war. When you're at war, if your War Desire is really low, it's going to make you kind of diplomatically weak to them, so that's when they can start, you know, trying to propose peace on you, or make demands, or whatever. So generally, you want your war desire to be up. Or you can, as it says down here, play it safe and keep a low profile. Just bury your head in the sand and hope for the best. Alright, now we have Empire 3, who is the Hittites, who are my neighbors down here.
I have something here that should please us both.
Alright. So let's see, they want to trade luxuries. Sure.
Most glorious! Yes!
Let us have wine and song.
Alright, so he's cruel, he's a militarist, so he likes to fight. He's impulsive. He likes food, and he likes industry, and he attacks on sight. So I'm going to need to be careful of him. He's a smart one. All right, so I mentioned it earlier, but Zhao here has the ability as this little outpost or little chain here, and you can do is you can attach it to another city. And what that does is it effectively connects them sort of on some level, so that now the resources of this outpost are being fed into the city. So it's a good way to kind of build up your infrastructure a little bit, and also your territory without having too much of extra cities and stuff. So I imagine the way the game is probably going to flow is that you spend a lot of time building these outposts that then feed into your cities, and then at some point you start disconnecting them and growing them up on their own. That's at least my my assumption. Over here you'll see my stability. Right now it's going down, and this is something that will, I think, basically always happen. Once you reach this little black line, I think that's when you start to run into side effects. But generally speaking, the more you develop your city, the more the stability starts to go down. So you have to start, you know, building more infrastructure to support that. As time goes on, you have to find ways to kind of do stability. I think a lot of religion stuff is good about that, from what I kind of saw. But I'm not entirely sure on that. Alright. My Confucian school is almost done, which I'm actually pretty excited about. And these guys are going to be building an outpost here for me. I was worried that Mr. San Lorenzo over there is going to try to snap up this territory, but I think he's too slow. Right, let's do some good old carpentry. I don't mind him being there, but I'm a little bit skeptical of him. Alright, looks like everyone around me is kind of snapping up territory. Well, the good news is I know about carpentry now. So let's connect this to the capital again. We have our super cool Confucian, was it a monastery? School. So you can see there, it's got, you know, its own little unique artwork. Pretty cool. I want to build more, but I feel like I should probably invest in other areas, at least for the moment. I mean, there is certainly some appeal to just kind of leaning into it, though. I think I'll go with the Maker's Quarter. So I'll build that here, because I'm going to get a ridiculous amount of production from that. It's going to take a couple turns, actually only 3, which is pretty ideal, but it's going to need some time. Alright, Haojing is in great shape. My only problem with it is that... Here we go. Doodleopolis. That tends to be my my signature move in these types of games, is I like to name my capital Doodleopolis. Excellent. So let's build. I guess we'll do city defenses next. I don't think I'll need fishing anytime soon, unless there's a coast right here, but I don't think that's the case. Spoiler alert. much influence do I need for this? I need 60. Okay, so I'm a little bit low on influence if I wanted to expand here. But there's horses here, which is really cool. One thing that's, okay, it's kind of stupid, but I love it so much, is see if I zoom in all the way here. I'm hoping you can see it in the recording. Yeah, you can. See these little horses that are around? They actually react to your mouse, and they try to run away from it. And you kind of like steer them around. I kind of love it, even though it's really silly. Alright, now I know how to make city walls, or palisades rather. I want them to go away. Yeah, go away. Get. I just want to make sure they know that I don't want them here. Alright, it's tempting to research horsemen right now, but I don't even have, you know, access to that, so maybe masonry? Yeah, I mean, masonry gives influence, so that seems pretty nice. I gained a new era star. You need 7 of them to progress to a new era. You can see all of your current era stars on the Empire banner, granting you some fame when unlocked. See more details and unlocking conditions, go to the Empire screen by using that button. This button? So I actually really haven't had a chance to look at this too much. So basically, it seems like here's the way that you get your era stars. You can reach a certain amount of influence. You can be an expansionist, and the more areas you kind of take over, the more, you know, you'll unlock those. Grow a lot of units, get money, lots of research, and do a lot of fighting. Now, one thing that the game does to, I don't want to say rubber band because that sounds mean, but one thing it does to help those that are behind is there's this competitive spirit era star, which is basically, if you're behind and everyone is progressing ahead of you to the next era, this will start slowly giving you extra era stars to kind of help push you up to the next level. You're not going to be, you know, you're not going to be caught up, but it's at least going to prevent you from being lost in the, you know, way in the past. As someone who plays Civilization and such with friends, sometimes, you know, someone will have a rough time of it, and they'll just end up behind everyone the entire game. And the problem only gets worse as the time goes on, you know, like, they finally get back on their feet and they're in the medieval era and everyone's, you know, floating around in metal navy ships. You know, using planes and such. So, it's a nice way to kind of keep everyone at least a little bit competitive. Okay. I definitely think I want to expand this way in general. Expand eastward and hope for the best, really. Oh, met someone new.
This proposal respects your people and mine. Greetings, Sovereign. I ask only that you always be courageous and sincere.
So they're loyal, they're committed, they stick to a plan, they're wary. They're pretty good at fighting, they're a protector, and they value garrisons.
Gladly.
Ah, what heartening news.
So it seems like this neighbor will probably be not too much trouble. They will probably be chill and leave me alone. Which is pretty much what you want out of any neighbor in general. Someone went with Egypt. Alright, do I want to militarize? Barter? So here you can get these little buffs. These are more like traditional events that you see in these kinds of games. This makes it cheaper to make units. This is extra food. That's extra money. I think I'm going to go with food. Excellent. New grievance available. Not sure what happened there. Why do I have a grievance? Anyway, I've unlocked a civic. So, I mentioned earlier that the choices that you make kind of go into your DNA a little bit. And this is kind of a good show of it right here. You have all these different kind of qualities here where it's like, I think it's like collectivism versus individualism, which I think that's the wrong word, you know, that sort of thing. This one I think is like faith versus science. So I think I mentioned earlier I wanted to go with faith. So I think I'll try that. You can only pick one of these. And you can see here that there's a sort of like, it's not really like a wheel. I don't think you can rotate it, but you have all those different options for that. That's a lot of food. That's a lot of production. I might go with the production here, honestly. I feel like I'm doing okay on food. And then hopefully I can expand over there at some point. Alright, I'm gonna go with writing. Almost to the next level, I think. Alright, let's connect Zhao to Doodleopolis. I don't have enough influence for that, never mind. Alright, Zhao's gonna hang out. Okay, my stability's hanging on pretty strong. Watchtowers are pretty cool. I think these are actual buildings that go out in the wild, right? No, not quite. That's okay. Let me get rid of that. I think I'm going with the pottery workshop right now, just to build up my influence a little bit. It's only going to take 2 turns, which is super cool.
A proposal for your consideration?
Non-aggression pact. Sure, I'm not planning on being aggressive, so that's cool. How much influence do I need for that? 75. I mean, I'm making a good amount of it, at least. Alright, so I've unlocked some market quarter. A food market. House of Scribes. I've discovered writing, I think, presumably first. So, because it's a world deed, so I got a bunch of fame for that. Terror of the Bovines. The Empire is mired in tradition and beholden to the past, but no city is more unenlightened than the metropolis of Doodleopolis. In this superstitious place, where hearsay and myths run wild, farmyard animals are now being put on trial for crimes. After a herd of cattle were sentenced to be burnt on a pyre for conspiring against the Empire, one wealthy landowner has had enough. Now I petition for you to intervene. What's your stance on the judgment? So the question is, do I want to go more faithy or tradition? Do I want to do more collectivism or progress? I think I'm going to go with tradition. So we're just going to be like, nope, cow did it. What can I say? Alright, let's take a look at my researches here. I like roads. I'm a complete sucker for roads, so I'll research that now. Move these guys along. How much do I need for a new outpost? 90, okay. I'm thinking maybe down here will be a new city. Here we go. I gotta create my religion. Do I want shamanism or polytheism? I don't know if I have holy sites. I'm not sure how that works. I'm gonna go with polytheism then. But I'm the first to make a religion as well. Granted, this is like the first easiest difficulty, so.
Yes, sir.
Ah, hello there, big boy. Alright, let's I'll resolve this. Kill that mammoth. What do we get for that? Just some money. scraped up my scouts pretty good, though. Alright, let's connect Zhao to Doodleopolis. Holy site. To provide more, you can build a holy site. Okay. Select a special district in your construction list. Okay. Nice. I love it. All right, let's build a holy site. Would be a cool place for one. Maybe up here. Now, another option you have in this game also, you'll see it next to a lot of constructions, is this. You can buy it out with population, so it'll kill a bunch of your people, but you can use that to give yourself a nice little boost. I am actually legitimately considering doing that. Yeah. There we go. Nice little holy site. Helps stabilize my empire a little bit. Next up, maybe another one of these bad boys. Yeah, I mean, this is another +10 science. If only if I could put it here, that would be an amazing spot. Because that would be covered, that'd be surrounded by, like, what, 4 mountains? That'd be ridiculous. So I think I'll build that there. In that turn. Alright. Things are looking good here. I think that's going to be it for this part. Just kind of getting my bearings. I think things are going generally pretty well. I'm learning a lot. And hope you guys are enjoying / learning too. I don't really know what I'm doing. I played this demo for like maybe 10 turns at first just to make sure that everything ran okay. So my knowledge of what I've learned is quickly dropping off and stopping being useful. So still a lot to learn, and there's I think a lot left. So I'm excited. Thanks for hanging out, and take care.